Welcome to the Stop Down Photography Podcast, episode 47. I'm Scott Davenport. Today's topic, missing the photo. And does that mean missing out? Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad to be back with you for another chat about photography, this shared passion of ours. And in today's episode, let's take one more step on our never-ending journey of photography. In today's podcast, I'll share an experience I had where I missed a photo opportunity, and kind of in a big way. And in a moment of mindfulness, I caught myself slipping into this sour attitude. And I'm glad I caught myself because I had a problem with that. If you enjoy today's podcast, please do share it with a friend, share it on social media with your camera club, and if you can, please leave a rating on Apple Podcasts. Those new ratings help other photographers discover the show. Okay, so what prompted this topic is something that happened to me yesterday. It's Monday, November 23rd as I record this, and this event happened just yesterday, the 22nd. I'd planned for a sunrise outing, picked a spot along the ocean, a place that I'd scouted a couple of months ago, and I was really excited for this visit. The tides were moderate, about the same as they were when I had scouted, so I was looking forward to capturing some abstracts of the water swirling around in this reef that would be exposed. There were partly cloudy skies on the menu, so I even packed up my 17-stop monster-sized ND filter, thinking I might do some extra long exposure for some kind of interesting cloud abstracts. So I start my drive. It's early in the morning, about an hour before sunrise. I hit the freeway, and the clouds are looking great. They're already picking up hints of low, deep red tones, and I look out to the east, and I can just see the potential of what this sky will become. It is just brilliant. I look to the west, and it's still dark. This pre-sunrise light hasn't quite reached to the clouds to the west, so I'm traveling right on the border of this sunrise color. My excitement is rising, as does a little nervousness. Am I going to get to location soon enough to capture this? Will I have enough time to set up a composition? So I keep driving, let's say, with purpose and intense focus. And I'll leave it to you to interpret what that actually means. But as I'm getting closer to the ocean, I'm making good time. I'm staying ahead of the morning light. Pause. A little information about the land around San Diego and its coastline. In the area of town that I like to visit, La Jolla, there is a rise of land that separates it from the rest of town, a natural border to the east edge of La Jolla. It's like a ridgeline. Think of it like a ridgeline. So I'm traveling east to west, and as you clear that ridge, the land slopes and rolls down into La Jolla and the Pacific Ocean. So I'm driving, and as I'm approaching this ridgeline, fog and mist start to fill the air. Now, it's actually quite interesting. The mist is weaving in and around and through the hills, but it is swallowing up the morning light. And the road I'm driving on, I reach the top of the ridge, I look down at La Jolla, and all of it is just blanketed in fog. That nervousness that was growing now completely overtakes the excitement. I gotta find another place to make a photo. I go off script, I double back, meander up through some of the winding roads in and around that ridge line I just mentioned. I'm looking for a good vantage to the east. No luck. There's just too much atmosphere. I get back on the same freeway, start heading back east over the ridge line. Maybe I can find a lower spot in the foothills where there's this mist that's weaving around the hills. I stop in a nearby park. There's some hiking trails. Check my watch. Sunrise proper is happening right now, and the light just wasn't there. It's not going to work. And that was really the end of the attempts to capture sunrise, and I'm a little frustrated. I'm disappointed for sure. And I start driving back home. I just kind of gave up at that point. From the freeways, I got to witness an incredible sunrise. I finally got far enough east, and the sun is just rising over a distant hill in the, off to the east. It's lighting up the sky wonderfully. And I almost didn't enjoy it. And I want to share some audio I recorded from the car, catching myself almost not enjoying what I was seeing. Now, this is driving on a freeway and just recorded with my iPhone, so I'll clean the audio up as best I can, but I want to share this.
So I'm just returning from what was a bust of a photo outing. By the time I got to where I had selected to go, it was a lot of fog, mist, haze, everything was closed in. I thought that was happening everywhere. So I'm driving back a little bit to the east. The skies are opened up. They are beautiful. Breathtaking, really. The sun just coming up over the mountains out to the far east of San Diego County. This very long, low bank of clouds catching all of the color underneath. I'm glancing at it as I'm recording this. Oranges and light pinks, pastel blue left up in the sky. And I have nowhere to stop and take this in. And I caught myself feeling really sad. And then asked myself why. I'm sad, I suppose, because I didn't capture it on digital, film, so to speak. I didn't catch it on film. But why should I feel sad about this? This is a glorious, beautiful sunrise. And just because I can't put it into a frame or share it on a screen doesn't make it any less gorgeous. And there's a part of this that bothers me somewhat. That just because I didn't capture it with my camera somehow makes it less enjoyable.
I'm glad that I caught myself, and I didn't let regret take over my entire morning, because in other contexts, I would have been so happy just to see that sky. And if I'd been driving to the grocery store or doing something mundane like that, I'd have been thrilled to take in that sky. And there have been days where I'm in the studio, I'm just having to focus on a project, but I'll pause and purposely step outside just for a few minutes at sunset, just to take in, some nice clouds that might be in the sky. No camera, no compelling need to capture it. Just take a breath, take a moment, appreciate a bit of beauty in the world. And I almost didn't do that with this sunrise. I was so frustrated with not having captured it. Now, if I have a point to make, it's this. We don't have to capture every glorious moment with a camera. It's great when we do, and I cherish the photos I have of those moments. Yet when the photo opportunity is missed, you miss the photo for whatever reason, that doesn't have to equate to the entire experience being spoiled. It's okay to forget about the camera, stay in the moment, and savor. Now that this experience is a day behind me and I'm thinking about it more with a clearer head, I really should have gotten back on the road and returned to the ocean and taken the photos I'd intended to take. I didn't need a glorious sky to make some of the abstracts I'd planned. The fog would eventually have burned off, and maybe the fog burning off would create its own set of interesting, longer exposures. But my sour mood closed me off to that type of thinking. I'd missed capturing that killer sky, and ironically, that sour mood led me to missing other photo opportunities. So I think there's a lesson in there as well. I'm going to keep today's podcast extra short. I'm really heads down working on a book update for Photo Raw, and I've got to go get back to that project. I do want to take a moment and thank the supporters on Patreon. It is your support that makes this podcast possible. It keeps it on the air week in and week out. I can't thank you enough for your support. And when I get this book finished, I want to share it with you as a thank you for contributing to my work and keeping Stop Down Podcast on the air. If you're interested in learning more about the Patreon community, check the show notes. There's a link there, and there's a button on every page of Stop Down Podcast called Support the Show, where you can learn more about it. That is it for this week. Hey, we all miss photos from time to time, and in my case, sometimes in a really big way, and end up with 0 photos. Don't let that sour an overall experience. Be mindful, regroup, and enjoy what you do have. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Have fun.